I guess that's all I can say. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 7, and welcome to what we've all been waiting for, the land mammal battle between cowofschmau and moose. I mean, I guess technically bozo cow, I'm a cow too. But no, this is what we've all been waiting for, my guys. This is what we have all been waiting for. And both of these guys are in the chat, which is awesome. Gonna be Galzian versus Sawan this first game here. cowofschmau picking his faction first. He is a Galzian main, as you know. Moose picking Sawan, and Cow picks the Boneyard, and he gets the spawn. Oh, you know what that means. Although I don't know. I don't think he's gonna rail rush. That typically is not in his MO. But if this were me, you know I'd do it. I thought for a second he was retiring his PC. I was like, are you crazy? I am pretty hyped for this match just because it's between cows and moose. That's obviously very important to win. Everything is on the line. And I have a vested interest in this guy. Although, I'm a bit torn because Moose has been playing really well also. If you watched that last series, I think that was the best I had ever seen him play. He nearly beat me in... Definitely in Game 2. In Game 1, I'd say he had a small advantage in the early game. No, it's like, okay, look. Cows don't even have fur. Maybe they do a little bit, but like... I guess they do. They have like, you could call it hair. It's barely even fur, alright? You can't be a furry if you're like cosplaying as a cow, okay? It's not like that. They definitely have fur. Okay, fine, but I will not be called a furry. That's not me. Oh yeah, right, the Shetland cows that have like the massive amounts of like fur on their body. Yeah, right. No, please. I can't be a furry. That's just not me. Scanner popped, by the way. This is a pretty typical scanner position. cowofschmau playing this kind of old school, you know, 2016 style, where you keep the base runner and the skims up in the front line with that PC. The big thing I want to see him do, of course, is tech, but he's actually going to go 2 PCs, so that's pretty fun. And if your response to this is to go carry production upgrade into LEVs, this is a bit of a nice kind of response. It's a bit blind countery, but it'll work for you. The probe here sees the tech, though, so he's going to know that there's no tech. And that, I think, will prompt AAV fab from Moose, but we'll have to see. He is actually going to go for support cruiser. That's pretty ballsy, but I like it. Attempted a targeting jammer over here, but it didn't seem to catch much, and he unfortunately traded 1 for 0 there, I think. So that's going to put cowofschmau ahead somewhat in this Strikecraft battle, and if he just keeps producing, he might have a pretty good time here, but he does need to get fleet cap up, and he probably wants to be looking at tech as well, so he's got a lot of stuff that he can spend his money on. Good news for him also is that that probe will be killed by the second PC. But it is going to be AAV fab coming out from Moose, so unless cowofschmau gets tech or goes back to ref mode, he will find himself somewhat unable to, you know, do any damage here. Actually, speaking of targeting jammers, there's a fun thing you can do when you're doing Sawan versus Galzian. If you believe that your opponent will go ref mode first, he wants to drop a scanner, right? And based on the map, there's kind of like typical places to drop them. So put a targeting jammer there. And it's so freaking BM, but like if you have a targeting jammer right here, he drops the scanner and he doesn't get any vision. So he doesn't know what you're doing still. It's just like, oh, you know, the base runner could still be there. It could have been retired and it's an AV rush. It could be anything. Like nobody freaking knows. Beautiful move. I'd highly recommend trying it if you're a Sawan main. Yeah, that's so funny. The other thing you can do is you can spam targeting jammers on their wreck bulkheads and then they can't pop them with mines from salvagers. Which is really, really funny. We haven't seen anyone do that for a long time, though. cowofschmau, we were talking about Strikecraft spam. He has a very big Sandscammer majority here, so he'd like to push with this if he can. He has tech now as well, so I'd love to see him move out across the field with the PCs and try and get something done. He is double producing. He's got a rally point set, but I want to see him moving too. These PCs don't really do a whole lot chilling back at the base here. Oh, look at that. That is so good. Gives these LEVs all the time in the world to reposition. The Space Runner wants to leave, though, because he still does have the Sandscammer majority. He could win this fight if he wants to take it, so... Uh-oh. Base Runner just kind of chilling here. He's getting really toasted. Roasty my toasty. The scoreline is 1-0 for Artifacts, so... I don't think you want to take this fight. Snow ups on either side. These LEVs are going to melt. Okay, that being said, though, here comes the AV. He's going to pop a smoke on the base runner, try and keep it alive. But this is very, very nice for cowofschmau. And then he's just gonna head off to the extraction zone, but I don't think he'll make it. These assault ships are in the hood. Oh, but he cancelled armor 1. That would have been so good if he had kept that on. And actually, I don't like ref mode here either. I think he should just move out across the field. But to each their own, that's definitely his choice. Ref mode, perhaps a bit safer here. But a style that Descara has been pioneering recently has kind of caught my interest, which is where you do go ref mode, but one of the PCs stays in the front line. And then you get that frontline production at the same time that you're actually getting eco. Oh, this guy does go down. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Armor 1 would have turned that fight probably, but he did cancel it, so gonna have to live with the consequences, eh? Unforeseen consequences. Such as, for example, if you were playing Conef, eh? Interceptor Fab coming out here for cowofschmau. It'll be done momentarily. He is filling out the bases, so this is fine for him, but I would have loved to see him go for that. I would have loved to see him go for that, like, aggro play with the two PCs moving out into the front line, but that being said, he is going to be okay here if he just fills out his bases and gets this PC onto the third. If he doesn't have it in the front line, obviously you want to have it on the third. And you're right, A-Game, it is scoutable in Conef, but it's easily missed, yeah, because first off, you can't know if they have the tech, you can only know if they're actually building them. And then second, you know, checking for the light is always harder, I think. It's a bit easier to miss, but as opposed to that, it's very obvious. And I think that Moose should know that this is air tech. But we'll see. I think he knows how to check carry tech, though. This base turner, unfortunately, going to be forfeit. cowofschmau not quite in touch with how much field control he's got. So that's going to be a freebie for... Yeah? Well, I thought it was something that you did in CVG, right? I don't know, I could be wrong. The focus fire is here for cowofschmau. It's not there for Moose. Oh dear, this base runner has gotten himself into a bit of a pickle. But yeah, cowofschmau is going to win this one with the better focus fire, but he's going to want to kite this guy out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, really good there too, because he can't even run away. That's the best targeting jammer position. They can't back away, because that's like the biggest, you know, chord through the circle. Really, really nicely done there. And they are going to kill that that assault ship. And that gives Moose really a good time as he sits on these bases here. He's got pretty much all the field control right now, except that he doesn't seem to be aware that there's air tech. If he was, I'm sure he would have missile battery fab started at least, but... Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I definitely feel you, because that's my trademark move, is messing up armor fights, but... But yeah, it seems like Moose has not actually seen the tech, even though he's got vision on it, but... To be fair, Boneyard, it's a pretty dark map, but this is what you want to look for, is those 3 targets, obviously. This fight here, though, this is really a foregone conclusion, even if that railgun wasn't there, so this is a bit of a throw, unfortunately, but... And he's on his third base, but he hasn't actually started mining yet, so he's being a little bit slow to get onto the eco as well. A bunch of skims are out, though. I'm not sure if I favor the skims here. I think he should do well to just spam armored units, and then trust in the air to clear out his opponent's railguns, but we'll see, though. Now, he's also got the money at this point that he could choose to go for another tech choice. And I would love to see rails and tech a little bit wide here, but he could maybe go for siege cruisers if he wanted to. Too expensive to make together there. Yeah, you might be right. They do cost a lot of RUs. He's got a bit of a bank, though. These guys, unfortunately, really getting hemmed in here. This is a very nice surround, as you can see. So that's going to be unfortunate. They're just going to try to run for it, but they will suffer some casualties. Would have been even worse if AV still had AoE like they did in the last patch, but 2 of them, or maybe 3, it looks like. Yeah, 3 of them going to get picked off. And he's going to see the air launching here as well. But what can he do about it? This should be some dead rails. Now, he can set down an anti-air turret post insta, which is what he's going to do. Uh-oh. They're circling a bit awkwardly here. And he's gonna back off, but he didn't get that. Oh no. So he lost 2 air units, and he got 1 AV. That doesn't seem terribly good. And now that the air is revealed, missile battery fab is done. And mind you, Moose actually had gone for air of his own, so cowofschmau is probably going to need to tech into missile ships now if he wants to claw this back. But this is a very good position for Moose, and he's actually going to move out with the support cruiser instead of the carrier. That's actually a move that I really like, and he'll build another support cruiser and then he can move the carrier out. This is classic Soban. This is always what you would do in vanilla, of course, but it's quite strong in patch as well because it just allows these units to stay healed while they're up on the front line. But it's going to be bomber tech, actually, from cowofschmau. I see. You know, I'm going to take it back, though. That's actually pretty unfortunate, because generally we'd say the counter to bombers, they do pretty well against ground anti-air, but against air units, they tend to suffer. And, well, look what he's already got. So that could maybe be tricky. Moose, meanwhile, actually going to send the second support cruiser out to the front line as well. I don't like that too much, because now you're giving up frontline production that you could have had, but we'll see, though. He may have an idea. cowofschmau could hit the eco, but he really needs to worry about this push, because otherwise he's probably going to die to this. Oh no, no, not the targeting jammer. Oh. Oh no. 3 bombs go on the targeting jammer. That's not really where you wanted him. And they are out of ammo too, so they need to dock. That being said, though, he's at least not going to die to this backstab, so that's good. Rail fab is done too, so I would assume we see some rails being built pretty much immediately. Target probably already spotted. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Yeah, just what does he do about this though? They've gotten in there. He hasn't been able to stop them. And that is going to be salvagers dying on the main base. I don't see any other way that this resolves. There's also an anti-air turret post set up here. There's a base runner, two support cruisers, and so I don't know. This does not look good. Not to mention, Moose is going to be launching his air units now as well. And cowofschmau, obviously, he's got no idea. He does not have anti-air. He's got the PCs. I guess that's fair. But this is going to be tricky if he wants to claw this one back. I actually like the choice of assault rails a bit. Well, actually, there are rails here, so maybe this would be better if they were heavies, but oh no, oh! Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh no. Yeah, they're just gonna get smacked into the desert. Strike fighters just absolutely having a field day over here as well. They don't need to worry about that PC anti-air if they just stick on this side. And those bombers are kind of grounded now. I mean, how are they ever gonna launch if this many strike fighters are in the air? So you take stock of the field then. He's got 2 bombers that he can't really use. He's got 2 assault railguns, and he's on 1 base. And I don't know. I don't see this changing anytime soon. I think this is probably a game for Moose. And if he wants to finish it, I'd say probably. Well, he's teching power and gonna probably move the carrier out, but I would say just spam rails. But this will work as well. cowofschmau gonna do his best to remove this hard point here, get rid of that turret. Yeah, he doesn't even have to yield this ground, though, because he's got, obviously, he's got the railguns, he's got the air, which is really kind of uncontested right now. And this carrier, if it just sits here eventually, it would actually die. Not to mention, the Soban carrier is on the way. No, it doesn't. Yeah, targeting jammers have a status effect, or no, sorry, they have a modifier on them that says that they can't target air units and carriers, so unfortunately, you won't be able to do any damage to carriers with a targeting jammer, but Bomber's gonna launch here, though. Moose probably wants to launch his air units in response. But, I mean, maybe he doesn't even need to. He did kill the railguns, to be fair, but wow, this guy's a freaking commander. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean by damage. You know, like, you can't affect them, so. But he is building rails, which is what I wanted to see. Maybe a gunship would be nice, actually, because he can see these skims driving by him, but he can deal with it with these strike fighters as well. That's not really going to be a very powerful backstab, so That's gonna be a-okay. And indeed, he can't even fight this with interceptors if he had them. He doesn't, but because there are, you know, anti-air turret posts around here. For today, yeah. There are a couple more, but I will have to go work in the yard after this. Microwave emitter being teched there, if I can talk. Not that he's even gonna need it, eh? This carrier can basically take the 1v1 here. Ye olde yard work. Backstab does get cleaned up. And Power 4 and Savant carrier, it starts to look pretty dangerous. Oh, really? Where did he post that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look at it before I go. Because that won't take too much time, we might as well. Anyway, Moose is going to be happy to take game 1 of this series, of this very important match between the two land mammals. And we'll move on to game 2, see what happens there. But I think cowofschmau, he was, he actually had kind of a nice setup if he would have moved the PCs out there and, because he had the tech, he had the 2 PC. I think maybe he could have done some damage, but didn't go that route, went for ref mode instead, but he was too late getting up onto his third base, took some bad trades. And before he knew it, Moose was up in his face. That's not where you want the Coalition player to be. So let's hop into game 2 then. Factions are the same, although the pick order flipped. And Moose this time has the map pick, he's going to pick Tauren Alt. And hey, you know that's a good sign when people are picking Tauren Crater against Galzian, right? I like it. Because obviously, you know, in vanilla you would never do this. Vanilla Tauren Crater is very bad, I'd say, against Galzian. But this is a whole new map. I've talked about it a little bit, I really like this map. I think maybe the base distances should be shrunk just a little bit, but it already is kind of a... It's a good eco map, so like maybe that would make it a bit too strong. What changed? So the main base was here and here, and then the second was here, and then the third was here. And so that meant that because obviously like this rock allows you to just like sit right there next to the main base and like come around on the sides, it's really, really difficult to hold the main base against any kind of early aggro. So it just turned into a very, very common like assault ship first like rush map, you know what I mean? People, we just kind of didn't like it. It was a fine map otherwise, but the base positions just made it very difficult to play against certain strategies. So Probe gets sent out from Moose here, as well as he's going for that LAV opener that he's been doing before. He's going to get chewed up a little bit by the base runner, and he does go down, actually. Really, really big pickup there for cowofschmau. And yeah, what A-Game is saying is quite interesting, too. Like, the thing is, the positioning of this map, it's imba, like, with the vanilla units for sure, right? But you can obviously change it so that it's not anymore. But the problem is, like, are you just going to have the gameplay balance of every other map be determined by like what is too strong on this map? It doesn't feel right. So so that's a really good point there as well. It's gonna be actually just 2 LAVs into SC first here from, I call it SC first, into SC second, let's say, from Moose. And so this is a little bit less eco than he went last game, or sorry, less army than he went last game. Maybe this could be punished a little bit by a push, but cowofschmau is not going to push. He's doing ref mode first. Obviously, you saw that scanner, but it didn't get info on his base. So he doesn't actually know about this. Yeah, that's true. Blood, sweat, and tears. Man. Remember when I was trying to convince you that like AS weren't broken on Tauren Crater and like it was holdable, and you were just like killing me game after game, and I'm like, no, it's just because I'm not good enough on Coalition. You're like, Bozo, it's broken. I'm like, no, it's... Ah, that was funny. Eventually I realized my folly. This is what cowofschmau wants to do though. Just get a little bit of pressure onto his opponent, force him to build units here. But he's a little bit late. AV tech is done, so Moose is not really going to feel the pressure too hard. But cowofschmau is up on 2 base as well, and he's going to tech straight into rails. What time was that? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Because, like, I mean, let's be fair, like, that support cruiser, even though it was literally a bug that it had about twice as much DPS as we had intended, it still wasn't gonna, like, 1v5 or something, you know what I mean? It just made it a little bit too hard to, like, push on bases, so it did feel bad, but, like, not that bad, right? I remember I took a clip or something where, I think, like, 6 LAVs failed to, like, take a base against, like, 2 LAVs and a support cruiser, and we were like, yeah, this is probably a little bit too much. But, like, man, we will never hear the end of it. It was just... People still complain about support cruisers, even though they're obviously not broken now, you know what I mean? But, like, Phoenixio, when he tells me he's gonna win the game using, like, only support cruisers, I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, you've messed up so bad. This build is, like, absolutely broken. 100% win. Like, he sounds like those League of Legends YouTubers who try to tell you that, like, some off-meta pick is actually freelo, you know what I mean? Like, no, it's not. You can't win with support cruisers. Like, there's no way. He's like, nah, just watch, I'll show you. We played like 10 games, he lost every single one. And yet, people still complain about support cruisers. I guess we haven't heard that in a while, so I shouldn't say that, but... 5 support cruiser rush OP. Yeah, don't try it, by the way, in a tournament game. You'll be unhappy with the result. Skins, by the way, gonna deny the first artifact from Moose. That's very nice for cowofschmau. He's not gonna get his second out. Obviously, this AV will stop him. But, he's kind of taking an odd path here. He should just drive right onto him. The speed advantage is pretty dramatic when you have the artifact picked up. You're, like, almost twice as fast. But cowofschmau has got rails out now. It's gonna be assault rails, in fact, that he has. But his opponent has gone for air once again. And, he went for air in the last game, of course, but a bit later in the game. But if cowofschmau is going straight to honor guards like this, he may find himself having a bit of difficulty against those air units. Doesn't really have scouting, he doesn't know if there's air on the way, so it's a little bit risky. If this Space Sprinter had a scanner to deploy, I would say, like, because he's not going to make it to the extract, obviously drive him back and drop a scanner here or something and just try and get info, but doesn't have a scanner ready. What I would love to see him do then is, like, take a sand skimmer. This guy's dead, but, you know, some other sand skimmer. Just try and get in there and see what tech your opponent is on. But he's perhaps gonna die to air here, so keep your eyes on that. I'm a little bit worried for him. He is up on 3 base, though, so he has the eco advantage for now. Although it is somewhat slim, because this SC is on the queue, and these guys aren't actually mining yet. Here comes the air launch, though. And these units here are basically freebies if he wants them. This is why, if you're going to go rails first as a Galzian, you've got to be really, really careful you don't just die to air. And I think it takes more scouting than... I mean, not to say that not scouting is ever good, but you really need to know if there's going to be air coming, because you're probably not going to have, like, interceptors if you go for rails, right? You may just die to an air push like this. He sees them now? No, I don't think he saw them yet, actually. And they're going to probably come in and just hit this base here. And they are really going to hit for damage, too. Obviously, all those salvagers should go down. That support cruiser's out, and that's going to put Moose up ahead in the eco in this game. However, he's not going to take the freebies over here, so maybe there's a window where cowofschmau can push and try and get him off of his 3rd base temporarily, but he's going to have to get anti-air stat. I do like honor guards. You know I like honor guard anti-air, but he's going to have to get missile ship fab at some point here. I don't think he survives otherwise. Oh, and these guys saved a couple of missiles for these assault rails, which is nice too. The skim's also unfortunately kind of suiciding in there. And now it's just 1 assault rail left. This LAV's not going to kill it for sure, but he's not going to be held off this base for long. Very, very well done by Moose. And he's going to go straight to bombers. Nice. Hey, I always say if you're ahead, try going air. If you're ahead with air, try going for more air. You know what I'm saying? This is a good call, actually. Because if your opponent realizes, oh, okay, so I need missile ships, he gets a couple of them, you bomb them to death, and then you can just do it again, you know what I mean? And so this is a really powerful pick. And cowofschmau is not even teching missile ship fab. And I don't know why. This is something... Oh, okay. He's gonna get honor guard anti-air, but I don't know. That's kind of putting all your chickens in one egg, if you know what I'm saying. These guys, by the way, again, free units. You don't want to be giving your opponent freebies when he's got air on the field. Missile batteries are gonna be better because you can make, you know, you can make them faster. First off, you only have like one HGC here. You can have missile batteries on multiple parts of the field at once, whereas, you know, this honor guard is only going to be in one place. And even though its anti-air is really, really good, and to answer your question, I would say it's worth it. You know, it's probably not going to do it all on its own, and that's without bomber tech, which he does have. So, yeah, that's a good point. Except for maybe missile ship direct fire barrage upgrade. That might not be worth it. But everything else, I'd say so. Yeah. Even based on an inventory, which is really quite remarkable. But you see how this honor guard like has to now rotate over to this side so that he can try to give anti-air coverage. It's not good. And cowofschmau being spread a little bit too thin here. I think he's perhaps just gonna die here. One thing to note about honor guard anti-air, it does disable the main weapon. So if he's relying on the honor guard to deal with these AVs, he'll be unhappy to see that he, you know, can't shoot at them anymore when the air units show up. But it looks like he's going to clean this up. Still, though, 4 salvagers wiped. This is really bad. I think dart maneuver is actually pretty good. I think dart maneuver is really good when your opponent has a lot of LAVs, but... By the way, again, honor guard moves over to this side. Strike fighters can just come over here then if they want to. But he did kill one of them with the anti-air, it looks like. Yeah, that is on cooldown, so he did use that. Here come the bombers, though. Second one finishing right now, and he could launch immediately if he wants to. Just snipe off this HGC. I think it'll only take like 2 hits. Maybe even 1. It kind of depends if it's moving, I think, but... It may be that it always takes 2. That's true, because Support Cruiser AA is really expensive. Yeah, definitely. Kind of like AC anti-air as well, right? I mean, that's a tech that, like, on paper actually sounds kind of bad because it's not as effective as other types of AA, and obviously ACs, you're not building them to deal with ground, but it actually is pretty good, right? Because, you know, you're always going to have ACs usually if you have that tech, and so you might as well just add another anti-air platform. Not like Honor Guard anti-air. Honor Guard anti-air is a hard anti-air option, but it does require some supplemental anti-air. And moving out across the field like this is also very, very dangerous. Because again, if he has to use the anti-air upgrade, he can't even fight these AAVs. Let alone the fact that this guy is probably going to die. Yeah. Here they come. Honor Guard anti-air is already triggered as well to hit that probe. Donk. Oh. And you can see how much damage that does. I mean, look at that. It got all 3 of them down to half, but if it's dead, it's dead, you know what I'm saying? He's got another one, to be fair. And probably should turn on anti-air, like, immediately. Get this guy in here. But this is going to be rough. Because, like, that threat of the bombers killing them is not going to go away, right? Yeah, I agree. He came in, sniped the rail, backed off, bombers come in, kill everything. I would agree, because he can kill an HGC for sure with 2. He might even be able to kill with 1, but I guess I'm not sure about that. But there is some AA now. He's got missile ships here. Oh, this is going to be rough, though. Not to mention, by the way, Power 4 on the way. 2 kills, not 1? Okay, that's good to know. Moose himself. And definitely, even if 1 did kill by, like, a narrow margin, if the unit was moving, it probably wouldn't, because bombs miss if the unit is moving that they're targeting. But anyway, we have Power 4 on the way. Just about to finish here for Moose. This is going to be a scary carrier. He doesn't have rail fab yet. I'd like to see him... Whoa. I yawned. I'd like to see him tech up to that. ACs, that'll do it too. I think rails is going to be really, really nice to deal with these HGCs. And you know what? He might as well get microwave emitter too, right? Good tech. Good freaking tech. Bombers are launching again. We have 2 HGCs now and a bunch of missile ships, but I don't know. He's got some decent anti-air, but like a good air player could even snipe these units with their current positioning. Like this amount really needs to be together in order to like deal with 3 bombers. And not to mention that there's the carrier, which he's got to deal with, and that's just gonna be too much. I don't see what he does about this. And not only that, but cowofschmau has the necessity to push, I guess I'll say. And by the way, awesome that these 2 AVs are chilling at home, because they're going to be able to, you know, deal with anyone who runs by here. Because he does have the artifact extraction held, and he's picking them up too. He's got 2 of them in his hands. I don't know. I really don't see how cowofschmau is going to get back into this. But cows are better than moose, I'm telling you. cowofschmau needed to represent, but he's failing. Oh, okay, I was like, what the heck is going on over here? That's a microwave emitter. Plomp. Oh. No. Cows are the superior mammal, and you know it. HGC anti-air does manage to kill 1 strike fighter, so we've got that. But like, look how much value that 1 strike fighter got, essentially, right? So, yeah, I agree. I agree. Exquisite. And I've got to say, actually, I'm not a big fan of using microwave emitters to just try to tax eco, because it doesn't usually work very well. But hey, you know, he doesn't even need a really powerful microwave emitter, because he's just destroying the army over here. And we do have another tech finished. Assault ship tech, right? No, interceptor tech, sorry, he's got that done. But he's only just now starting to build them, and even though that would be a good answer to air, it won't be, right? I mean, in this scenario, he just, I don't know. It's going to be real tough if he wants to win this game. You'd have to have a huge mistake from Moose if he was going to come back from this. Good barrage, at least. But you can see this carrier with his range being as high as a railgun at power 5. Not even a couple rails is going to blunt this carrier push. And even if it could, again, we still have air to close the distance. Get those kills, start the engage. This is an interesting targeting jammer here too. But... oh shoot, I didn't know that. Hey now. Nobody ever said that. He's got a little bit of power in armors. He's not going to take too much damage to this. Obviously, the strike fighters can fight this. They have a vast numbers advantage. Didn't you like try to change the rails range, but you couldn't really do it because they were going to like derp out when they were supposed to be shooting at stuff if you did that? I remember hearing something like this. By the way, wow, this is a lot of AVs. Microwave emitter is up too, so they're at 2,000. Oh, dang. So it outranges it by about... it outranges it by about 20, like 400 meters, actually. That's insane. Down goes cowofschmau. And unfortunately, in this battle, okay, not saying in every battle, but in this battle, the moose turned out to be the superior mammal. But only in this battle, and I'm telling you, that will not always be true. Anyway. Yes, it is. And indeed, Moose is going to ride that sub-1 carrier as well as some excellent air micro and just pretty decent macro overall. I'd say he was never really threatened this game. He is going to ride that to victory and bring this series to 2-0. Congratulations to him. And that is the last we will cast today. But we're going to check out this replay to see that apparently gunships are bad against LAV, but...